Hey everybody, Curb here, and at the time of recording this video, we have hit 817 subscribers. That's monumental, guys. I can't even just begin to stress it. The reception on the Leaking FNF Mods video has gotten so many comments, so many likes, so many new subscribers that have come out of that it's just incredible. And actually, this video's premise is based on the comments that I got from that video, as well as a couple of events that have happened since that video was recorded. So I hope that you all are looking forward to it. Before I really get into the meat and potatoes of this video, there seems to have been a wide misunderstanding, of what I was actually saying in the previous video. I'm not trying to convince you to not leak mods. And if you do, then that's your business. You have your opinion, and I have mine. And mine is that I don't like leaking, because I'm a dev, and I understand that putting a lot of effort into something just to have a pre-made or a partially made build leaked by somebody else is just heartbreaking for me, honestly. But like I said, you have your opinion, I have mine. I'm gonna kind of respect your opinion, maybe not on like the subject of more controversial things, and especially leaking. You could definitely say that we might not get along as well. So with that, I'm gonna get into responding to some comments now. Alright, so the first comment here we have is from ringloop64. See, that's why I'm making an FNF mod alone, because I can't trust a dev team on certain circumstances. I ain't letting my hard work get leaked to the public. Yet. For the most part, I agree with this, but I will say that there is a workaround around it, and that is having a dev team of people that you very well trust. For example, for me, that was the Fun Size CEO team and the Blackjack team. We have had zero problems with leaking or any of that stuff. Well, dev builds have been shared here and there and everywhere, honestly. So there is a way to work around just working on a mod yourself, and I suggest you find some people that you know and can trust and work with them. So next I have this comment from TAG, which is an alt account. It basically says that leaking is a bad move, which I completely agree with. There's a lot to be said about this one. A leak is totally meaningless in the grand scheme of things. Well, I would argue that if mods are getting cancelled and dev teams are being split apart over leaks, I would almost begin to argue that that's not really meaningless. The only thing that it does is killing the surprise factor. Well, this is true for some things. It's still a big deal when you're holding out secrets for said mod, and then some dingus just decides to just leak it. Is getting sad or demotivated because your work is getting exposed to the public before the release date is not the right answer. Well, the thing is, once again, is that can lead up to the entire breakup of dev teams. Worse, if you change or scrap content because of it, the only ones you are harming by doing this is your team. Well, once again, that's the same thing. If you're doing that, then your entire team, your entire mod is just going to fall apart. So I would argue it's not small. And putting it on the dev team to be like, oh yeah guys, you know, the entire mod that we worked on for months just got leaked, but it's no big deal, right? It's no big deal. I'm just laughing because I'm thinking about how like stupid that sounds to me as well, because you put a ton of work into something, you're going to care about it. It's going to be like your child. So what to do when something is leaked? Ignore it, or embrace it and share with what you have planned. Being more transparent with your audience as a developer, you should try and seek the best outcome of the situation. I partially agree with this. I don't agree that anything should be leaked ever. That should not be a problem. I don't know why it is, and I really don't like the sudden appearance of a lot of leaked content on my YouTube recommended when I specifically made a video about how leaking equals bad. But you know, what can we do? So I would agree with the idea of taking a best case scenario even if your mod does get leaked, but it's also completely understandable if you end up canceling it if an almost completed build that's just buggy and causes people to absolutely hate on the mod gets leaked. I would want to cancel my mod. I'm not even gonna lie. And that's not just me being a dingus and crying over spilt milk, as we call it, or even just having like a mod leaked, but it because there's so many people on a dev team, it's gonna hurt everybody a different way, and it's going to demotivate a team. Absolutely, it's gonna demotivate a team, but it's also just gonna it's gonna cause a mod to break. Especially like I get trying to look at the best outcome. People don't, and we have to be realistic about this, is that people don't really see the best outcome when their stuff gets leaked. So now the flipped out build, which was being an extremely old build, really the answer to the critiques, yes and no, because the programming was it was okay, I guess, but it wasn't like demo, it wasn't completed. Was it the most criticized was the songs, which sucked, and Suburster never fixed them, or if he tried, it was like doing nothing. Also, the reason why it was leaked was probably due to Suburster being an A-word, which was also the reason Flipped Out got cancelled and sliced into in the first place. Well, first off, I'm going to say you weren't on the team when Flipped Out got split into two, because I was there, and I know that Suburster was a part of it, but not all of it. In fact, it was a bunch of devs, but I'm not going to share that here because that's interpersonal stuff, and I don't really care about that anymore. Get your facts straight. Stop making assumptions just because you don't like the music, that it's automatically cause of the musician. And sure, if he's a little bit of a dingus towards like it on social media and stuff, and I'll admit I don't really surround myself with Suburster anymore, but he is still somebody who played that key role in Flipped Out's development. So despite the assumption that Suburster was the reason that it got canned, when it's not canned and it's in fact one mod again, is just simply ridiculous. The Week 8 leak is a good example of my point. See how the base game devs never whined on Twitter or removed stuff, they just continued with their work. The delay had nothing to do with the leak. We don't know what actually happened to the Week 8, to the FNF devs, and what that all went around. All that I heard was that Phantom Arcade expressed disappointment that somebody would take those assets and leak them, and I absolutely would as well, especially when it's something as big as the base game. I'm not going to dwell on this too much longer, but I think that making these assumptions that it didn't affect the team, and I would argue, in a way, because of how many delays have been set up prior to the leaks, it's a bit uncanny that they would happen after the leaks. But, I can't make assumptions. I can't really speak to the devs themselves, right? Because they don't obviously talk to me or anything. But if I could, I would find out what happened, probably set the record straight. You could be right, I could be right, who knows. Next up, we have a comment from a Lego animation and a comic pro! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Yeah, leaking is not a great thing in this community. At this point, it's not even leaking. It's either false things people make for attention, or straight up the real thing. Like I've seen someone leak the Hypno's Lullaby V2 mod with most, if not all, of the new content and songs. I've also seen people leak the Needle Mouse song and content in Sonic E V3. EXE V3. I actually heard about this, after the video. A bunch of people obviously messaged me on Discord to fact check me and just make sure that everything, like I had the full story of everything, and that there was actually like I think 3 Sonic.exe v3 builds, and I actually had to talk to a person about how right or wrong them posting a cover, like basically the song but redone almost completely, and it was very interesting because there's a lot of gray area in this as well. Now, the thing with this comment is, so far, is that those builds still aren't final, because if they were final, they would be published. This is a big key point. Everybody thinks that, oh, just because it's leaked, this is all the content that we're getting. No, that's not the point. Until the build is actually published and put on Game Banana, Game Jolt, 7-Zip, whatever, that's when you can say this content is definitively what we are getting. Otherwise, we don't know, because that's supposed to be just for the dev team to decide. The probably last song in content in Wednesday Infidelity, other songs from Marius Madness, I've heard about this one as well, etc. This is just getting ridiculous, and really sad for the devs who worked real damn hard on these mods. I agree with that last point. I definitely would say, like I said, as a dev myself, this would suck. If my mods were to get leaked, oof, that would be rough. And then he proceeds to say, how did they even get this stuff? Well, newsflash, dev teams have conflict within the dev team. And sometimes people turn and proceed to leak dev builds because they want to get revenge on another dev. This will be brought up later in the video. Trust me, I've got a whole story about this. But basically, dev teams are usually the ones doing the leaking. It's unless they leak it to, basically, it has to come down from a hierarchy, right? And that hierarchy is going to be the director, the dev team, and then down. So, community people, and then, you got the leakers. And the dev, whatever dev member wants to get revenge or wants to show this off or whatever, sometimes leaks get out of hand because a dev shows off too much, and people take whatever that is and turn it into a leaked build, which is technically still a leaked build. But it's once again a gray area because the dev has shown those things publicly. I'm not going to get too far into that because then I'm just going to talk myself in loops, but that's basically the premise of it, is that it has to come from somewhere, and especially when it's the actual mod, that's where it comes from, is the dev team. Alright, so next up we have a comment from Vortex_all. At least I get to play the mod early. Wow, okay, so this is, you're playing a buggy version of a mod, first of all. You're playing a leaked version of a mod that could not be the final product. If you want to play the mod early, you do you, I guess. I can't really, I can't influence you to go one way or the other, but I would say in my mind it's wrong. It's just straight up wrong. I try and avoid leaks at all costs. I was literally in the last day, I am not even joking, guys, I have been sent about 8 or 9 leaked builds, and all of which, or videos, and all of which I have said, no, I'm not playing this, no, I'm not checking out this video, because it's wrong. It's wrong to the dev team to simply go out and, and endorse this culture. People on YouTube, you may think it's just a harmless leaking channel or whatever, and they're making money from this. They're making actual money from what a dev team would consider not a complete build. And once again, to Vortex all here especially, go on Game Banana, go play another mod. Come on, there's so many mods that get published today. I'm going to reiterate this point a million times, I'm sure of it. There's so many mods that get created and published, and very high quality mods, mind you, that get created and published because it's becoming easier, it's becoming more efficient, it's becoming, there's more people in the FNF community to make mods, and more of those, smaller, less talented people, I guess, so to speak. Obviously anyone can get better. Little bit of a silence there. Can make their own mods, and they're going to. And that's the beauty of the FNF community. So play those mods, endorse those mods, the ones that are completed, and maybe try not to just play a leaked build because you get to play the mod early. Alright, so next up we have a comment from King Neo _Gata23. Ayo bro, I just I also wanted to mention that I know a YouTuber who been leaking or teasing some FNF mod to this day, and I also subbed to him. His name is Fur2703. Is he really a leaker? Oh, this one's exciting because I get to talk about the gray area again. So checking out Fur's channel here, he seems to label all of his videos as being teasers. I don't want to watch any of his videos, obviously, because I very much can see that already just looking at the thumbnails here, the comments, or like, not the comments, the thumbnails still look very suspicious. Like I see a Mario's Madness one here, and that one is pretty clearly just a teaser. That's just a very clear teaser. But I believe that, if I got my facts right, is that this person actually does talk about like leaked stuff as well. Now, technically it's public, so it's not, but it is still technically a leak. I would say that they do stay on the safer side with more teasers than leaks, but it's still, at the end of the day, it's still a channel that tries to endorse the fact that they have early content, and early content once again is being shared around, and in my mind that's just disrespectful to the dev team. That's all I really have to say about that one. Alright, so next we get to talk about Sling Mingo and his comment on the video. He's stuttering, he's nervous. Well, Sling, do I have news for you? The reason why I say you're one to talk here is because Sling is actually the person who leaked Purgatorium and got into that petty fight with another member of like the directors team, we'll call them. Sling proceeds to respond with, he's nervous. Now, you may think that this is as far as it goes, right? Well, I've worked with Sling a lot in the past. I used to work on one of his mods, I guess him is assuming gender. I used to work on one of their mods, and that mod didn't really go anywhere, so to speak, and that we were always kind of mutuals, kind of, sort of. At one point, they were in the Blackjack server. You know, we had, I guess, not companionship, an acquaintanceship going. And just today, after I made the last leaking video and they commented on this, they proceeded to join my community server, to which I was like, okay, so that's interesting. But then they proceeded to advertise their own Discord server, which is FunkG, which, in case all of you don't know, is a 4chan, I guess, like a subreddit if Reddit was 4chan. I don't really go on those places too much, so I don't know a whole lot about it. But I know that FunkG is a 4chan, like, I guess we'll call it sub-community, so to speak. And so he published that, and I was like, okay, that's a bit odd, but yeah, okay. And then I had one of my dev members actually contact me about concerns about them being there, and I was like, you know what, that's actually a good point. So I did ban him, and I'd say good reason to, because, like I said, I was in Purgatorium when it got leaked. And it was leaked by Sling. And so after that, Sling proceeded to organize a band of croonies and raid my server. Raid my community server, actually just today. So that was quite the experience, to say the least. We did get everything calmed down, and there was pictures that were not safe for work and definitely not something that I'd want to show on screen ever again or see ever again in my life. That was, like I said, quite the experience. And all of this over getting banned. And, like, it was just a flood of people, and they were all just trolling and whatnot. And that's so immature. And then I had a bunch of them actually DM me talking about how I'm a P-word, implying the cat, what is it? Freaking, words come to me. For encouraging leaking, I guess, so to speak. They said, I'm a leaker through and through, and I will continue to be a leaker through and through. And that's why I left that disclaimer at the front of the video, because, like I said, my last video was not to say, hey, leakers are terrible people, and you should never leak ever, even though that's my opinion on it. It's saying, this is my opinion on it, these are the facts that I have to back me up. You can take those and turn it into your own thing. Now, for Sling to raid my server and do all of this stuff, it was incredibly petty, and it's just so wrong. Like, I don't like this guy or girl or them or they or whatever. They have done some pretty bad stuff, and I would argue to say that I just don't even want to associate with them anymore. So this is where I'm going to put down this little drama events that have happened, just to say, okay, Sling, you want to leak? Go for it, buddy. Go off, but I really hope that you don't leak, obviously, for fairly obvious reasons, but also that you never associate yourself with me ever again. And that you never raid my server ever again, because that was wrong. And I actually had to clean up that mess, which was not fun. So, there you go. There's a little story on Sling Mingo. Alright, so the next comment here is from Wing Ding Font Bro 67 Null. It's like having people told they can move into an unfinished hotel, and then the same people complaining of air conditioning system issues or plumbing issues while the construction workers work even harder to finish the hotel. It's also disappointing to have a project you are excited for just to have an unfinished and unpolished build be leaked. It takes that element of surprise and ruins it. Why can't people just forgive and forget? Okay, you had a fight and you left the team, done and done. That's it. I have nothing to say. This is perfect. This is the, mint. And it even uses, a hotel as, an example. Who would want to go into a hotel that doesn't have an air conditioning system or has plumbing issues, right? So why would you want to play a leaked build if it's got issues? I guess that doesn't entirely make sense, but it's still applicable in the way of it's not what the devs intend you to play. Next up, we have a comment from Fresh. I'm very glad you talked about this. I'm so mad that these kinds of things happened. I'm way more pissed at that Sonic.exe dev for the joke port. That's literally illegal. Hope they get arrested someday for that. Okay, let's talk legality here. If you're getting arrested for leaking a mod, something has gone very wrong in the world. And, okay, so leaking a mod, sure, it's harmful to the devs. Sure, it's not really great for that mod itself, and chances are it's going to get canceled. But it's the same way as saying, that something else, like making a cover of a song should be illegal because that person has the rights to it or something. And we'll get on to that later. But basically, I would say that I don't agree that leakers should get arrested for leaking mods, but I don't agree with it. And that's it. Red Pencil here comments, why would it be one, illegal in the first place? I know it's not okay or anything, but I killed 25 people. You? I leaked an FNF mod build. I mean, okay, so this is just so true, and I don't even have a comment to say on this. It shouldn't be illegal, because it's not like a crime. It's a crime against the community, but it's not a crime in law. That's it. AP Chibi Dubtalia comments, if FNF modding is supposed to be for fun, then why are some other modders or content creators trying to monetize stuff like FNF beta DCIUs? Or people like the Innuendo saying no one is allowed to make covers of their songs. It's not about fun anymore, it's about that clout and fame. Passion and love for a mod around a certain theme or topic doesn't mean SH word unless it brings in attention. That's where we are at right now. Facts. First off, the whole music thing, I could get into a whole nother rant about that, and if you guys want to see it, then just simply ask for it. But this is so true, because people are trying to monetize, but same could be said for leaks. Like, I mean, look at Fur earlier in the video, is that they're monetizing off this. They have 34,000 subscribers because they're monetizing off of leaked content. And it's an argument that can be made for literally any other Friday Night Funkin' showcase YouTube channel that makes money, because they are making money off the backs of other people, I guess. It's almost like content that milks itself. But like, I agree with the idea that covers and beta DCIUs are a little, like, lazy. Lazy is a good word. And like, most of them that I've seen are pretty low effort, pretty quick. Like, you could crank one of them out in, I don't know, an hour or so if you really got down to it and you knew what your chromatics were doing and whatnot. But it is really about that clout and fame now. There is really no passion mods that are really getting noticed unless it's from a noticeable creator, or a notable creator, my bad. Yeah. So I got a number of comments with with nerd emojis, and I'm not gonna lie, you sound literally like nerd emoji. Because I stutter, doesn't make me a nerd, so to speak. And honestly, I've been called that before, because programmer, musician, I mean, come on, I'm not even a cool epic gamer like everybody else, right? The thing is, stereotypes are always going to exist, and calling me that is not going to stop the stuttering, is not going to stop me from making videos, and is not going to hurt my feelings. So why say it? That's it. I stutter. That's a thing that normal people do, and they can still be content creators. So why do you have to satirize me for simply having a stutter? If you made it all the way to the end of the video, congratulations. You are one of the few. I guess I'll do my normal plug stuff here. Don't attack any of the people mentioned in this video or any of their comments. Just kind of keep it on the chill. I've responded in what I need to say, and that's good enough for me. In terms of, you guys should probably like and subscribe, because that gives me more motivation to make more of these. And also, I will be announcing what I'm going to be doing at 1,000 subs sometime in the future. But if you have any ideas, feel free to comment it down below, because that would make my day, because it makes my job just a little bit easier. But with that, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening to me rant about more silly stuff for another pretty long time. Thank you guys very much. Bye now.